Welcome everybody to our, I guess I'm gonna call it a super Saturday like we always used to, because it is a super day. Love seeing all your faces. For those that are with us, I'm excited you're live. Those of you that will watch the recording, we're going to go through this quickly. We've just taken about an hour of your time. That's it. And guess what we're doing? We're going back to the basics, right? We're going to talk about some things that we hope help you, guide you in building your business, and not only your business, but yourselves. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen because you know J-Lo and I we always have PowerPoints. Let's see. I'm sorry, I wasn't at the beginning. There we go. So who's ready to ignite and transform your business? I don't know about you, but I've been ready for this. Been working on transforming not just my business, but myself, probably for the last year or two, right, J-Lo? I'm so excited to do this with you too. Thank you for partnering with us and love your energy, love doing this with you. So it is your time, okay? J-Lo came up with this, kiss it, keeping it simple and sincere. Love that. So my part, I chose to work on the basics. I think are the most important things for you to build your business. We're going to talk about your why to me. And I know some people probably don't have their why figured out, but we need to figure out your why because your why will drive you every single day to work your business. We're going to talk about ITT, invite, tool, team. We're going to talk about presenting, and we're going to talk about becoming that leader. So let's talk about your why. I remember at the very beginning, I didn't know my why. They kept telling me, you got to figure out your why. And I'm like, why? Why do I have to figure out my why? I just know I need to make money. I need to save my home, need to save my marriage, you know? So I remember thinking one day, if I don't quit, what will drive me every single day? And I sat down, literally sat down for hours and wrote things out. Then I finally figured it out. My why is huge. Now, your why is going to evolve over time. My why at the very beginning, of course, was to save my home, save my marriage, make that income that we needed because I did not want a divorce. We were talking divorce. So I knew what my why was. Tim and I actually sat down. This right here, this picture you see is in between my kitchen and my living room. It is my vision board. But Tim and I sat down and put this vision board together. This is 13 years old. Have I added to it? Have I changed some things? I have, because on our previous vision board was to hit elite. It was to earn that team Jeep. We've conquered that. So some of the things have evolved. My why has evolved. I saved my marriage. I saved my home, but my why is huge right now. So I need you to dig deep. I really need you to remember, why did you say yes the day that you enrolled to be a consultant? Because here's the bottom line. If your why is not big, if your why doesn't make you cry or make you just want to keep doing this every day, you're not going to be consistent. When I walk past this, which is probably 30, 40 times a day, going from my kitchen in between my living room, I promise you, I look at this at least 5 times a day. This right here, and if you could see some of the pictures, it's what we want out of LifeVantage. This drives me every day to go sit down and work my business consistently every single day. Okay, so focus on your why. Here's what I want to say. If you don't know your why, I really want you to reach out to me. I am pretty good at pulling your why out of you, asking you question after question after question. Some events that I've done, I did one in Texas this couple of days ago. The training was on the why and the story. I actually made a gentleman cry. I pulled him up to the front of the room, asked him question after question because he couldn't figure it out. And I asked him, what would you do if you made $13,000 as an elite every single month? And the body started shaking, tears started flowing, and his why came out. So if you can't figure it out, I promise you I could help you do it. Okay. Let's jump to ITT. Invite, tool, team. Guys, you have to follow a system. The system works. Inviting. You should be inviting at least one person a day. And that's on the low numbers. Okay. And I will tell you this, you should be talking to everyone. I'll never forget one of the first distributors. I don't know if J-Lo, you might remember Jason Domingo. His words stuck in my head. If someone is 3 feet in your parameter, you should be talking to them. Doesn't matter if you say, oh, I like the shirt you're wearing. How are you today? Ask questions. You should be making relationships every day. Can I tell you a story that happened? I told J-Lo, I promise you, if I am flying, I will get a customer or I will get a prospect at every airport. And I go early specifically to find someone. So on the way to Texas in New Orleans, I got a customer. She happened to be sitting next to me. I was there about an hour before our flight. She came and sat next to me. And what did I do? I started asking questions because I promise you, the one that's asking questions wins. And I sat there and I listened to every answer. I didn't butt in. I didn't go into, oh, yeah, I've been through that too. I didn't tell her anything about my side. I listened and probably for 40 minutes asked her question after question. I showed her I care. Okay. I care about you. I care about what you're saying. And guess what happened? So tell me about you. What do you do? All I did was say, I help people have a better health and make more income. Does that intrigue you? She said, oh my God. And I knew it did because I knew her pains, right? I listened. I knew what she needed in her life. She was struggling. Her husband was home disabled. I knew she needed this. So she asked me questions. Before we got on the airplane, before they even started calling us, I had her phone number. I sent her my link. She grabbed her credit card. She ordered Protandim and collagen on the spot. She wasn't ready for the business, but she ordered the product. All I did was make a conversation and ask her questions and listen. I showed her I care. And look, at the very bottom, I think this is huge. This comes from the girl that started Spanx. Sarah, if you don't follow her, you should on Instagram. She's amazing. This stuck in my head. Sell the problem you solve, not the product. I didn't sell her Protandim. I didn't sell her collagen. I sold her something that could solve her problems. Now, guess what else I did? I said, hey, by the way, Diane, are you on Facebook? She said, I am. Let's be friends. And guess what? She's a nurse. So I Facebook friended her and I'm going to keep in touch with her. Okay, guess what? I hope she watches my stories. I hope she watches my post because my job now is to take care of her as my customer and hopefully upgrade her to a consultant one day, right? So you should be inviting, using a tool, using the team. Now with her, I didn't use the team yet because I'm in an airport. We're about to fly. I used inviting, I used tool, but guess what I will do? I will eventually put her with the team. Okay. Oh, the tool part was ABC Primetime. I pulled it up and I let her watch it. Okay. So on the way back from Texas, I did go sit at the bar. I was there early. J-Lo laughing at me. I did go sit at the bar, but anyway, the girl came sit next to me. I did the same thing. I started asking her questions. I listened. and I showed her I cared, and then I sold solved the problem, not the product. And guess what? We're Facebook friends. She's very interested. I have her phone number, and next thing I want to do is the team. It's the system. It works. I don't know if you've heard my story, and I want you to take this away with you. When I first got started, I wasn't using the team. I was inviting, I was sending the ABC primetime, but I never did third-party validation. Till one day I went to a department store, Dillard's, to look for a brand new pair of shoes. I was teaching, I needed something comfortable. Sales clerk came up to me and said, "Can I help you?" I said, "No, thank you. I'm just looking," because that's what we do. Lady comes around the corner and says, "I have those shoes. They're so comfortable." I went, "Really?" Sales clerk, "Can you bring me a 7.5?" I bought the shoe. Who sold it to me? The validator. And I went, ding, ding, ding. Third-party validation works. Use us. Let us help you. A lot of you are sitting there going, "I don't want to bother JLo. I don't want to bother Tori. They're busy." JLo, raise your hand if you want them to call us. Use us. We want you to let us help you. We love validating. Next thing, this is the daily method of operation. JLo and I actually created this to keep it simple. Guess where it is? It's in boards. Everything that we're going to talk about is in boards. All your tools, everything you need. This, if you don't have boards, it's the TBC boards. Get with the person that's your leader and make sure you download that app and print this. This is on my desk. I use this all the time. Next thing, here's what I'm having a lot of fun doing, because a lot of you are sitting there going, "I don't have a database." Yes, you do. First off, yes, you do. There's probably people you haven't thought about, probably people on your database you haven't followed up with. The fortune's in the follow-up, guys. So don't ever disregard your database, your warm market. But I'm doing this for cold markets and warm too. This is working for me. And every area that I go to, I'm doing this. If I go to Madison, Mississippi to help Wendy, if I go to Ridgeland, Mississippi to help Sabrina and Shayna and all of them, I just went to Texas. I did it in Texas. Go to your Facebook, type in the location. If you look at the first picture, I'm using Houma as an example. Type in, I did Houma, Louisiana. It will pull up. Next picture, when it pulls up, click on the area. Third picture, you see this right here? Hit people. You could actually practice it on your phone right now. But when you hit people, thousands of people pull up in that area. I have been very bold, and I'm Facebook messaging people in that area. I'll send the invites, simple invites. Your invite's going to be different than mine, but I'm very bold. I notice you live in the Madison area. I am coming that way on Wednesday. Super excited about sharing something that could possibly interest you or not. Are you busy Wednesday at 6:30 p.m.? I know we're strangers, but this is something you would have to hear. I just make that up. But there's invites like that that I'm using. Now, guess what? A lot of these people have mutual friends of mine, and I will come out and say that. I notice we have mutual friends, and I'll invite them. A lot of them are ghosting me. But guess what? If I send 40, what if one person says, "Oh, sure, I'm looking for something right now"? What if one? So guys, this is working for me. I'm doing it in every area that I go to, okay? Any more questions? Take a picture of this. If you have questions, please ask. Next part, presenting. How many of you want to grow your business? I know you do. You have to be presenting. At the very beginning, I bombed them so bad. That's one of them, my first one. All I could say was my name, where I live, and that I was a school teacher. I couldn't think of anything else. I cried, but I got up there. I want you to promise me you're going to work on presenting. The person in front of the room is the one that's making the money. And that is a fact. Now, a presentation could be a Zoom. It could be a home meeting. It could be a one-on-one, any kind of presentation. And it should always start with your story. I want to talk about your story. Your why is huge. I told you that. Part of your why could be incorporated into your story. Your story is so important because stories sell, facts tell, right? They're going to listen to the product. They're going to listen to the business. Sabrina's story freaks me out. She's probably the only one that I know that went to a presentation and was blown away by the business. She didn't care about the products. She saw the income claim statement. That's cool. But a lot of people listen to the stories too. I do. Sabrina is just like amazing. She's so business minded. I was listening to the stories. So work on your story. It should be 3 to 4 minutes long. If you haven't gotten up in front of the room, haven't told your story on a Zoom, I challenge you. Work on your story, write it out, practice it every single day. Look in the mirror and tell your story. And then I want you to reach out to someone and say, I'm not ready. I'm scared to death, but I need to get up there in front of the room. I'm ready to share my story. And it should. This comes from Eric Worre, guys. It should consist of your background, what you didn't like about it. You found a solution. That's LifeVantage. How I feel about the future. Okay? Work on those 4 things. Work on your story. And I challenge you to get up in front of the room and on a Zoom. Do it. Just do it. I promise you it will change your life. It will build your confidence. The story, then after you got your story down packed and you've got it and you've done it, I want you to start telling the product story. Okay? I know Sabrina wants it. Y'all, I have to tell you the story. So I went to Mississippi. We were doing a overview at Beverly's house. And I said, Sabrina, I want you to get up in front of the room. I said, I'll help you. I'll come in. I'll do whatever you need, but I want you up there. You could do the products. And guess what she said? No, I want to do the business. She did the business side. Guys, face your fears and do it anyway. Was she nervous? Absolutely. She killed it. So learn your story, learn your products, learn the business side. And remember, the person in front of the room is the one making the money. Last, once you start doing those things, guess what happens? Your confidence is growing, your business is growing, and you become the leader. My job, J-Lo's job, Brandon and Lynette Cunningham's job, corporate's job is to help you become the leader. Leaders establish a vision. They inspire others to take action and become the best versions of themselves. I guarantee you, J-Lo and I have been working on ourselves for years. She knows my story. Some of you know my story. The last 2 years, I have been focusing and working on me to become that leader. I want to help you be that leader. What do leaders do? They stay plugged in. You're here. Pat yourselves on the back. I'm so proud of you for being here on a Saturday morning. They show up. They're on the Zooms. They're on the team calls, the TBC. We have Freedom Factory right now. I don't know about you, but I think it's amazing. The last one Brandon did, I'm telling you, was fire. If you have not watched it, you have to, but guess where it is? It's in boards. Show up for Zooms. They show up for presentations, even when they don't want to. I know a lot of people get home. They're tired after work. What did we do the whole 13 years I've been doing it? I drive 5 hours to go and help Sabrina's team because I love them. I want to help them be leaders. I want you to do the same. Show up for the Zooms, show up for the meetings. They're presenting, they're telling their story, doing the products, doing the business. They're actually planning the meetings. They're scheduling the Zooms. They're scheduling the whole meetings. And I had to throw this in there because I've been doing it for 13 years. They're doing the setups. They're bringing everything with them, setting up the collagen, setting up the Axio, making the Axio, plugging in the computer to the TV. That's what leaders do. That's the hard part. But I challenge you to become that leader. So I know I've ranted on for 25, 30 minutes, but these are the core things that I think you need to build your business. So reach out to me. I'm here to help you with your why, your story, presenting, cold contacts, warm contacts, ITT, become that leader. Okay, I'm excited. JLo, I'm going to turn this over to you. I have to make you a co-host, didn't I?
You did not yet, but that's okay. You hit that right on the nail on the head. So before we even get started, first of all, like Tori just hit that whole ignite part, right? It's all about igniting your business. What does it take to take our business from maybe where it's been, right? And kind of move it up another notch. That's really what this is all about. And I'm going to talk about transforming. I got it. It wasn't there yet. So, but you got ahead of me there, Miss Tori. Let me do this. You're there you go. I got it. Okay.
Got it. Perfect.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Perfect.
So what we're talking about here is the transformational piece, right? Tori talked about talking to folks in an airport, right? That could be viewed as a transaction because she actually walked away with a customer, but there was some transformation that happened, which is why that person who did not know Tori before that moment actually decided to create a transaction and become a customer, right? There was something that led into that. And it's all about transformation versus transaction. What I talk about today is this. I want you to look at this quote. It's the opportunity to invent something completely new to create an extraordinary future. Who here is interested in doing that for your own business? I'm going to come off a screen share because I want to see faces. I want to make this interacting. I want you all to like hands up, thumbs up. I need to know, are we truly in a space where we want our business to go from here to here? So I see thumbs up. I see hands waving. This is what we're talking about. We're going to talk about transforming and using certain tools, certain gifts that we all possess. We just haven't unlocked them yet. Because I believe we can all be the Tories, so we can all be ourselves, right? In the space of literally transforming our business to the next level. So let me dive back into the deck and share with you my thoughts. In order to do this, you got to do three things. Simple. One, develop a quality lead. Who is that? What does it look like? And I'll give you some strategies, all right? Two, we have to create really authentic conversations, whether it's in person or on social media, but they got to be authentic. All right. And I know we all think we're real people, but sometimes we get caught up in the comparison mode. I don't know if anybody's ever felt that before, where I need to say what somebody else said because it worked for them, but it doesn't always work for me. So an authentic conversation is an authentic conversation that is truly who you are, not necessarily someone else that you've heard say something. All right. And then the third piece is what? Utilizing our team. See, the strengths of our team is super important. I know Tori hit on what the third party looked like, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in how that can look, not just in person, but also in the social media space, in the texting space. How can we truly be authentic in connecting our teammates together? Why do people want to meet our team? We got to talk about that too. So those are the three main components, okay, that I'll dive into. First things first is developing the quality leads. All right. And if you look at that little picture, shoot, leads come from all over. Look at that. There's Wi-Fi, there's computer, there's shoot, you could stand there with a megaphone if you wanted to and say, hey, I got something to share, right? But really, there's so many opportunities to develop them. Sometimes we think of just who we know and the first 5 people that are in our phone that I talk to all the time. But a quality lead can look like this. It can be that you're intentionally making a decision to go to an in-person event. For instance, I told you about a gala that I went to. There were a lot of people there that I didn't know. They got to know J-Lo. Hey, what are you doing? Da, 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 da. How are you? And J-Lo became a little networking butterfly. Walking around, I got about 4 or 5 folks, and I'm like, I got their contacts. I was there on another purpose, right? I was there for my other world. Oh, I was there for another world, but here's what I do know. LifeVantage is a part of my world too, right? So as I gain those individuals from in-person networking that you're going to be super focused on doing, you can also make sure that whatever you talk about, I call it courageous content. The content that I share here, as well as the content that I share in social media, needs to be courageous. Sometimes stuff is a little, I don't know, messy, right? Our lives, has anybody's life been messy in the last couple weeks with things happening that you weren't sure about? Post about it, talk about it, share that with your neighbor who was out in the, oh my God, I had a rough day too. You had a rough day, so did I. Align with them, right? Tell them that you're in the space with them. I have people who follow me on social media and think I have a perfect life. I'm going, what are you talking about? Have you watched all my stuff? So go ahead and post when you got the baby spit up on you, and I don't even have children. Why do I have baby spit up on me? I got pooped on one day, seriously, at the beach. A bird decided to hit me, and my niece took a funny picture, and I said, I'm posting about that. When does life throw you this, right? People laughed. I had so many comments on that. Now, I didn't sell my product. I was selling Jessica as an awesome individual who's pretty real. People wanted to follow me. I gained some followers that day. All right. So developing quality leads means putting yourself out there. Look, it's what you heard from Tori. The purpose is to help, not sell in any content or conversations we have. I'm not selling someone. What I'm doing is I'm helping. And how do I help? You heard Tori. We listen. We ask questions. See how you can develop a quality lead by just listening and asking a question? That's how somebody goes from a stranger in the store line to a lead or a potential customer, a potential business partner who is looking for something. So look, here is the big key for developing quality leads. Changing that give to ask ratio. Now that says like what? So I'm going to come off mute. Give to ask. When you're in social media, you need to give more to everyone else before you begin asking them to check your stuff out. When I'm talking to an individual, I need to give my time and my listening ears before I start asking them, are you interested in learning about what I do? See the difference? Give to ask ratio needs to be higher in anything we do. When we start doing that, magic starts happening. All right. So let me take you to the second step. Second step, creating authentic and sincere conversations. Look at that picture. I mean, they look like they're like genuinely interested in learning about each other. I actually went through about 1,000 of my pictures, and I could have put probably 50 of ours, but I was like, I don't want to highlight any one person, so I can't do that. All right. I was more aware of the space, but that photo says a million things to me. Leaning in, looking, look at the eye connection, laughing, smiling, agreeing, nodding their head. That is an authentic and sincere conversation that's happening. How do we do it? We be proactive. Proactive. So we'll go to social media first. How many of us wait for someone to comment and message and say something on a poll? We're all going to say we do. And we get mad when we only have, 5 likes. Those 5 likes are leads. The likes are leads. How do you turn them into a lead? By having a proactive conversation. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. You got to focus on areas. The engaged leads from social media come from, an engaged lead is someone who either likes or comments on a post. That's an engaged lead. If they just like it or love it, thumbs up. Engaged means they actually did an action to your post or to your something. I want you to think about this. An engaged lead, when you go to a networking event, is when someone offers you their contact. That's an engaged lead. How many of us have taken a business card, put it in a bag, and we forgot about it? How many? I could pull out, I should have done it. I have a box, an index card box of probably like 5,000 business cards that I used to have when I should go back to those now that I'm thinking about it. Engage. At one point, somebody thought it was important to give me a business card. Call them, Jessica. I think that's my challenge for myself right now. While we're on this call, I'm going to do that. Okay. Any business card you find, follow up on it. Hey, what are you doing? I found this card in my bag. Curious, right? So engaged leads from social media, but you can also have engaged leads through your current and your past customers. That's an engaged lead. At some point, they said yes to you, and they said yes to our products. Think about that. We can either tell them we've got some awesome things coming. We can tell them, I'd love for you to come back. Were you aware that we have collagen now? Which is getting ready to launch in Canada, by the way, right? But that's a great conversation starter. Thank you so much for being a past customer of mine. I was just going through and I wanted to thank you. We're in November. Perfect opportunity to thank people, right? Perfect opportunity to thank people. So the goal is to do what? To identify and connect with them, but around their problems, whether it's in the social media space or the networking space, the in-person space. What is their problem? Not what I want to do. I would love to increase my volume. Who here wants to increase your volume? Come on, we all, right? But at the end of the day, shouldn't we be focused on them? So the goal to sincere and authentic conversations is identifying and connecting with them around their problems by doing what? Asking questions and listening. Basic. When you do that, you build trust and you bring value. That's all we're trying to do, to build trust and bring value. Okay? So third piece, my favorite piece of all. Look, I got some folks highlighted. In person, what you saw with Tori, right? And some of you can see your faces in there. It's kind of awesome. But that was at our last big global event, okay? And Tori was actually engaging and using her strengths with that particular group that was there, okay? What you see in the bottom picture, that is actually me using one of my teammates in a third-party Zoom. One's in Ohio. I'm here in Florida. She was over in or Tampa. She was over in the Riverview area, which is also in Florida. And we hopped on a three-way Zoom because I love to see faces. That's how I love to do it. And I asked that prospect, would you be open to a Zoom? I said, I'd love to do a Zoom. I said, great. I asked. She didn't want a phone call. She didn't want a text. She wanted that. So how cool is this, right? So when we think about utilizing the strengths, this is where we need to edify and paint a bigger picture because our folks don't know. The prospects have no idea. Do you agree with that? The prospects don't have any idea why this is so big or important. So when I talk about Tori, I mean, I'm going to blow her up like she is, the woman of, $14 billion kind of a value that she can bring to somebody, right? They need to be on. When I spoke about Amanda, I was like, you are going to totally connect with her, Marika. You have no idea. She's someone who's in the athletic space. She used to be an athletic trainer. You're a coach. You're with all the same people. She's like, oh my God, yeah. I said, she's also a nurse. You're telling me you have some health issues. I would like someone who can answer those two spaces for you. She goes, oh, I'll be on it. I'd love to meet her. Great. So there was no ghosting. There was no, I'm not going to. I had a bigger picture for her. She was on it like that. So I want us to think about edifying is the most important thing we do in order to get someone to be a part of that third party. Don't just throw them in a three-way and say, hey, this is so-and-so. And they're like, I don't even know why I'm here. Okay. So super important that we do that. Three-way Facebook chats. are super, super easy and super awesome to do. So I would put Tori, myself, in a Facebook chat with that individual and say, hey, I'm introducing Tori to you. You said you wanted to meet someone else. Here's a space to do it. Maybe people like to text versus talk. Just because I like Zoom, that person might not. Right? So know your people. 3-way Facebook chats, 3-way text message, same kind of thing where you put you, your advisor, if you will, right? As well as the prospect in a 3-way text to do some introductions and maybe setting up the next step of a call or a phone, a Zoom. 3-way video calls like I just showed you there. Zoom opportunities. Huh. We have so many Zoom opportunities to be able to invite people to, right? To get all of the information. And then lastly, of course, our Facebook groups. That is third party, folks. That is third party, kind of indirect. 23 Free is designed for someone who is super intrigued by potential business opportunity. Don't get it confused. You're not going to find people in 23 Free that are talking about their health and the activation on the health side. That is the activated TBC. I want you to really recognize those two components. We've been trying to build those out so that we know who's in what groups and we can speak to whoever's in each of those groups the appropriate way. All right. So 23 Free for business, activated TBC for health, right? Testimonies and things like that. So in thinking through those 3 topics, right? Those 3 topics of I'm going to go back to this one picture, developing the quality leads, creating the authentic conversations, and utilizing the team, when we get to this third component, now we're going to get to ignite and transform ourselves. This is where we're going to do some hands-on stuff. And I know Eric, he's like, are we going to get to ask questions? Or what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, first things first, we're going to put our hands right here to the test. So we're going to do this first, then we're going to open up for some questions, all right? So first things first, I want you to pull out your phone. I want you to look at the last 7 days, because I'm pretty sure everyone here is on social media of some capacity. Doesn't matter to me which platform you use most. Open up your last 7 days of social media. Count up the number of likes or comments that you might have received. Because that, my friends, is your engaged list. It doesn't matter what your post was about. It doesn't matter if it's about horses, dogs, my children, the gala that Jessica Perez went to. Okay? I want you to create your list. So you're going to take all those likes and comments, you're going to add them up, and then you're going to identify who the names of the people are. So it could be Tori, it could be whoever. Now, if it's a LifeVantage person, they're not an engaged lead. You recognize that, right? So what we want is that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. For right now, just count up the number of likes and leads. You can write their names later. That will be your homework, right? That when you leave here, that's what you'll do. But I'm curious to know what numbers we're looking at, okay? So how many likes, comments, loves did you get on, let's say, the last, let's say 10. We'll just say 10 posts. 7 days will be your homework, but let's say for the last 10 posts. And I'll do the same. I will do the same. And then drop your numbers in that chat box. This will be kind of cool. Drop the numbers that you find in the chat box. So what you'd have to do is go to your own profile, look at the things that you posted, count up those numbers of likes and all the things. Oh, if you got to share, that's even better. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Go ahead and drop those numbers into the chat box. If you have done any video, you'll get views. Count some of your views. Good question, Amanda. That's a great question. We have been discussing that in the leadership group, and we definitely will think about what 23 Free should be in 2024. Boom, boom, boom. Love that. Ooh, Sabrina, 105. I love that. Michelle just means you haven't done anything social media wise in the last few days. That's okay. Go back to your last post, Michelle, that had any. That would be your lead list. Tell me what that number looks like. I'm loving it. Tori Hill, you got some work to do, girlfriend. Look at that. Right? I love it. She's getting some traction. Oh, this one. So it's really interesting. What you can also do, it's kind of like a self-reflection of your, right? So like, I just saw one of my posts. I said, oh, I didn't even know it had that many. So this one had 76 likes and 45 comments on the same one. I need to give my people more of that stuff. Does that make sense to you? Like that's a high, Eric, fine. Impressive, dude. Impressive. Whatever you did there, we got to do a little bit more, right? And we'll talk about how we convert whatever that looked like into potential conversations. So I love it. I love it. Thank you for playing along with me there. Let me give you the second piece of this, okay? So as you begin identifying that, well, we just did the last 10 posts, but you could go back even further, right? Then you start taking the names of those individuals, and that begins building your contact list, a list that you can begin truly prospecting and targeting things for messaging for. Here's how we do it. First of all, comment specifically showing some interest. I'm going to read something to you. Like you could say something like this. All right. Thanks so much for your comment on my post. I started writing these down the other day. I'd love to share some information with you like you asked. Could I ask you why you're interested? Maybe that's because you had posted something about LifeVantage. Could I just ask you why you're interested? You know, thank you for commenting. I appreciate your time spent on my, you can do that right there on the comment section, or if you prefer, you jump over into a private message. Here's another one. How about, thank you for so much support. Eric, this would be for you because I know you just posted something that had to do with your kids. Thanks so much for your support on my post. I'm excited that you're interested in learning about my kids and what we're doing. Tell me what you've been struggling with. I'd love to be able to help you out. I love helping people. Tell me what interested you about my post, right? Get to know them a little bit better. Instead of just loving the comment or liking the comment, be direct. How about this? Now, this is a really direct one that I really like. Great seeing your comment on my post. How about this? It's hard to put myself out there sometimes. So your support means a lot. I'd love to learn more about what you shared in your comment. Maybe you posted something about yourself and your health and your wellness, or that you're struggling with work, or that you know, your kids are driving you crazy. Whatever the thing is, just try to generate something there, all right? Second homework task. I want you to think about your current and your past customer list. How many of us do anything with that? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're consistent, sometimes we're not. But I want you to think about having conversation and being intentional with those individuals. Like I said, super grateful right now because we're in the November month, right? Where there's a lot to be grateful for and people are starting to think about thanks. So be coming up with some questions and some thoughts. Instead of just saying, hey, how you doing? Remember, the goal is to identify and connect around them. So something along the lines of, hey, I'll say Tori. Hey, Tori, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. I know you've been struggling with blah, 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 right? How are you doing with that? How's it going? Like, make it personal, right? Or, hey, just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. If they're a current customer, how's your experience been going? I do that a lot. Talk to me. I want to just touch base with you. You know, I want to know. Talk to me about what you're experiencing. I had someone go, you know, I don't know if it's that, but the more I think about it, and they start telling me all the stuff. I haven't had the headache. I haven't done that. And I'm like, that's great. I had someone say, there's no way collagen can be doing this. Why is my sleep so much better? So guess what I did? I said, you know what? There's an awesome slide that I just used in a presentation, and it talks about all the things that our collagen does and what areas it addresses. I sent it to her. She goes, ooh, that's really interesting. I must have missed that in the presentation. So it popped back up in her head, right? So now when I check back in with her tomorrow, which I will, hey, did you have anybody else who was interested in helping with that situation? Because you said a lot of your friends were dealing with some of the stuff you were. I can get her to think from being a customer into potentially upgrading, right? And sharing this with others. So it's all about understanding your folks, guys. That's really what this is about. So transforming your business becomes more about who you are, not just what you do, right? LifeVantage is a part of who I am. It's not what I do. When somebody asks me what I do, I don't say I do LifeVantage. I don't say I do LifeVantage. So I want us to really think through that. So in closing, for the training piece, the idea is really to walk away with this with some real hands-on kind of things to do. So those two areas I think are super simple. Look back at what you've done in social media, count up those likes, count up those comments, create a new list of who can I truly talk to, and begin building an engaged list where you know that people who are liking your things, commenting, just be direct. Hey, here's who I am, here's what we're about. And then secondly, man, the current and the past customer list, that's a gold list. They've said yes to you once. Maybe they'll want to say yes to continue. All right. And either upgrade or purchase more or whatever. You know, you can let them know that there's sales going on, but don't just do that on the front end. That comes on the back end. I don't lead with a sale because we know we'll have sales for Black Friday. I lead with, hey, I want to check in on you. How have you been? I remember the last thing we talked about. You said this was your struggle. Oh, have you thought about us? Maybe we could solve that for you. All right. So that's what I have as far as that's concerned. What I'd love to do now, Tori, is stop the recording. And then what we can do is we can literally open up and allow